Hi guys, very good afternoon to all of you. Welcome to the video number 347. My name is Ajay and in this video we're going to talk about the Excel user forms. As you know, I actually have started a series on the user form a couple of months back and we have covered almost every control in the user form. Now today we are going to combine them and we are going to make a kind of a mini project where I will have a target of selecting the D drive, E drive, any drive. If I select, then in the next my form I should be able to see the all the the folders which are a part of that drive. For example, if I select the documents in the user form, I should be able to see all the folders, all these folders. If I select, let's say, desktop, then in the desktop whatever folders I have, that should be available. And if I select the D drive from the form, I should be able to see all these folder 1 and folder 2. And further, if we select the folders from the next control box, then inside this folder 1, if I have any file, that should also be visible. So this is extremely going to be a super advanced VBA programming. For that, you should have a basic understanding of the user forms. If you don't know anything about it, first what you need to do, because we are going to work with the folders as well, go ahead and check out this Excel VBA file handling list. And here please watch all these videos, right? How to create the folders, subfolders, and of course if you questions on file handling. And then you have the text files also, though we are not going to use the text file in this, but can watch, it will give you the good understanding. And then again you can go ahead and check out the one of the playlist out of these 42 ones Excel VBA user forms. This is the one. 11 videos are there, and you can see if I just scroll it down, here we have the combo box, here we have the text box, command button, part 1, part 2. In the part 3 I created a login page. So basically these are the controls which we are going to use today in this user form. Let us go ahead and open the Excel and let us do that. So I open this, and now the first thing which I want to do is I want to create user form. I go in the Visual Basic, I insert the user form, and this is my user form which comes. And then I'm going to actually create the combo box here. Let's say I'm going to create the combo box. This combo box actually will tell me all the drives. So whatever drives I will write here, that should come. So I'm going to write here all the D drives, I mean the drives which I have, let's say F, D, and you have the E. I don't have all these drives, but I'm just writing so that when you send this code to somebody, they can use it. So we're going to write everything, and you can go and you can write, maybe let's say if you have the V drive, so whatever drives you have, you can select that. If it is about the desktop, right click and find out how your path actually comes on the desktop. What you can do is you can further go ahead and copy and paste this. Everybody everybody has its own different path of the desktop. I know, I understand that. So what you need to do is you just need to tell that person, like, I have this Acer as my username. You just need to replace it with your actually the path how your files actually show, and that's it, right? And do that. I can also write in the program, but unnecessarily that let's just not do that. We can use a function which is environment function. You can go ahead and check that function, how how it helps to capture the by default your desktop paths by extracting the username, the video in the Excel VBA functions on the environment function, environment. Anyways, I'm just going to write like this. So now what we want to do is whenever this form gets initialized, I select this form and I go to the view code of this. Initialized is the event which runs when you run the user form, when you run the from here. Before actually the user form populates on your screen, user form initialized actually runs in the background. It gets loaded in the memory. So here we're going to run that initialized. We will not choose the user form click. So now once you have your initialized event here, what you need to do is you need to write here your combo box, which is your CMB combo box 1, and value in this combo box has to be equals to your sheet name is sheet 1, join it with the sign of exclamation, and you've got to provide the range which is A1 to 5. Okay, and put it within the quotes. So once you're going to put it everything in the quotes, this is how it will look like. You can extra join one more line to blank in order to get a good feeling presentation. So now when I run this, before I run this, what I want to do, I go and insert the module, and here we're going to create a macro which is form show, and you will write the name of your form, which is right now is USERFORM1. You can change the name of the macro also by going in the property window, but that's fine. I'm just going to keep it as USERFORM1.show. Now when I click on this, I'm going to create here a button. So I make this rectangular box and right click and go to the assign macro, and I click on the form show. So when this is going to run, see what will happen. You have all the drives coming here. If you want to see how it happens in the background, though I've already talked about in my basic videos, but still let's go ahead and see. If I just go to the view code and I put the break code here, okay, before I run this, I also want to, one thing I want to ensure that this should look good. So I'm just going to increase the path of width of this, right? And you can also put the label here, why not? Let's go to the this toolbox and let's hit here, create the label here, right? So this is your label. You can go to the property of this label. I go to the property of this label, property windows, and I want to change the caption. You can see here the caption. The caption has to be changed, and we're going to give the name called select drive. This is how it would look if I click option, and this is how it is going to look like. Okay, so now you have everything. Now I'm gonna put the break code. Let me see if I just forgot if I put the break code. Yeah, I have. Guys, what happens when you click here, you see that this immediately runs. And before even I take you that, why don't we just create the code here? Now look, you know that when I click this, a macro will run, which is form show. You know that. Now when I run this, the form hasn't come in front of your screen. But before the form comes, this USERFORM initialized event will fire. You won't be even able to see that. This is getting loaded in the memory, and when it runs, the combo box will have all the source coming into it from this sheet 1, A1 to A6. And then finally, when this runs, you have the form coming in your screen. Now what we want to do is, whenever user select anything here, okay, that means if he is going to select F drive, so previous value is going to be written. There is a change happens. The first time it is going to run, it will be blank. So when you're going to select the D drive, it will have a value, which is again going to be a change from a blank value to some value, right? So we would like to see all the folders. Okay, so to do that, what we will do, we're going to create a combo box here. You can go ahead and create the list box as well. I think list box is good. We can on the box and we can show all the forms here, list box. So I'm going to show here the list box, all the folders basically. So this D drive, what all folders we have, that's what actually we want to do. So moment you have a change in your this combo box, double click here, and this event will automatically be created for you. Combo box change, that means any change happens in the combo box, you will have to, this code will be run, which we're going to write here. Now because I want the folders inside these drives, for example, if the user selects D drive, then I want to put this folder 1 and folder 2, and if there is some another drive, then it should pick the that actually folder. What you will do is you will use the file system object class scripting runtime. Can need to on this, and I click on the M, and you need to find where is your Microsoft scripting runtime. They are all actually sorted out, so I'm gonna just go ahead and click on this scripting runtime. I just click here and I press OK, and this is how, if I come back and see on the tool reference, this is going to be shown up here. So now we have this library on. I'm going to declare my class called FSO as scripting dot file system object. So basically this helps you in getting to the D drive, and if you're following the channel, you know that we have a lot of videos on that under the playlist Excel VBA handling, Excel VBA file handling. So this is how guys we define it. Still I will explain. Basically this class we use file system object whenever you want to deal with the folders, because this gives you a method to open the folder to define the folder. Now which folder actually we are talking about here? So the folder which you select in the obviously the combo box, right? So I'm going to declare here a variable called var as a string, and then var has to be equals to the value which you have in your combo box, which is not the combo box, I beg your pardon, yeah, combo box, actually it's a combo box. So combo box 1 dot value, Okay, so now whatever the user will select in the form, that will come to this variable. Now how to use this? So what you need to do is you need to declare your folder, which is scripting dot folder, and what is your folder equals to. Now you will use the FSO. If you are still wondering why we are using the FSO, what is it? So when you use the FSO class, you have a one method which you can use with this, which is called the get folder. What is your folder? Obviously the folder which is in the var. Right? So now what you need to do is, guys, you need to run the loop. You need to run the loop, and for that you need to define here one particular the folder, because we are going to actually run this loop, which is for each folder in my main folder and dot subfolders. Okay, this is basically the kind of a loop we are going to run. Right, so your folder will be defined. You can't use this folder directly, so I'm going to write here f as scripting dot folder. Okay, so this folder becomes f. Perfect. What is the main folder? Now main folder obviously is your FOL. So you write here FOL because you have defined that. So subfolder is the another method which comes with this FOL. So now let me show you. If I just click here and press dot, you see that there is a subfolder. Actually the subfolders, the property comes. Right? So we're gonna have all the message box here. Well, I don't need the message box here obviously, because I want to show that in the combo box. So what you can do is you can first of all get those all values exported here. So you can write here that in the row number 1 and in the column number 2 I should be able to get my folder name. So f dot name you can write in this way. You can increment r equals to r plus 1. Perfect. And obviously we will have to declare r as well. So I just to avoid too much of the spacing, extra lines, I just declare everything in one line. So I write here r is long, and then we can write here in the colon r equals to 1. This is also you can write everything in one line. Right? So I can also put in this line as well. I cut this and let's cut this line, and I'm going to put it here. Yeah, that is also something I can do, and you can further go ahead and we cut this line as well, and can put this here, right? One line. So you see that this is going to save a lot of space. And this is also fine. I can cut this and put it here, right? That's it. Okay, so this is how everything looks now. Good to me. So if I run this, I should be able to see all the folder names in that drive, whatever I choose. So I'm going to select the D drive. First of all, let's go ahead and run this. There we go. Let me remove the breakcode from here so that it should run. Okay, I'm going to select the D drive. The moment you select the D drive, what happens? Your blank combo box will have a new value called D drive. So since this is a change, will happen automatically. This combo box change event will trigger. It's not going to wait for your any button. These are called the events, self-driven macros. So now combo box change happens. So let's go ahead and run this. So we should be able to see now all the folders coming here. You can see here in my D drive which I have selected, all the folders are coming. Now the recycle.bin is the one which I can't see on my if I just take you to my D drive, there is no folder as such, but this must be a hidden folder which is coming, right? So it doesn't really matter if we are showing it, that's fine. If you don't want to show it, you can further go ahead and program it, you can remove it. But right now I'm okay with that. So I have the download, I have the folder 1, folder 2, everything is there. Okay, what is the next thing I want to do? Well, guys, just in case if you select something else, maybe F drive. Now you know that when I select the F drive, I don't have a F drive. So the line which you're going to run now, this one, get folder, which is your F drive, you're not gonna see that. You're gonna get the error path not found because you don't have that, right? So what we can do is before I when the change happens, so what we can do when the change happens, first of all, before it actually runs, you can write here that in the sheet 1, first of all, this range from the B1 to B10 should be deleted. We can write here clear, and that's it. If I just run it, let me see what will happen now. I'm going to run it. There we go, and I select D drive. This is going to clear. This is going to clear. The next time when your F drive will be selected, it will not show anything, right? Because what I want to tell you actually is you're gonna put the error handler here. You're gonna write here on error resume next, so that if there is any error, the code should not stop. Okay, so but at the same time you also want to ensure that this should be cleared, because otherwise what will happen if you change, for example, let me just give you the understanding. If I click here now, when you click on the D drive, you know that this is going to run very quickly. There we go, we have everything here. Let me press F5. There we go. So now once you have everything here, you want to export these values here, okay, your list box. So what I will do, where you have written this code, after the next, what we want to do is me dot the list box 1 row source is going to be equals to sheet 1, and again you will write the B1 to, let's say, B10. Okay, just giving the extra buffer. Now when this is going to run, we'll have the list box coming. So if I select the D drive, and if I'm just going to run this code, let me show you. So we're going to have all the items getting exported in the Excel. Afterwards, once they are there, this range will be selected, and then you should be able to see here the list box items, and I don't see it. So must be some mistake we are doing. Let me go back to the user form and let me see what is the name of my control. So it's actually list box 1, which is fine. List box 1 equals to sheet 1. I forgot, guys, I'm so sorry. Sign of exclamation. Well, that was really, it was such a actually a new thing. It's a very small thing, but you see it can change the entire code. So let me just click here, and again we're gonna select the D drive. So when I select the D drive, this is how the code will run. Again the code will run, and you have your all the values in the list box. Perfect. The point is, now why I actually have deleted that in the beginning of this range, because when you select the F drive, you know that there is no F drive. So let's say you're running on error resume next, for example. Now if I don't write this line, which is B1 to B10, for example, if I run this line and I'm not going to clear this, I'm just going to write like, I'm just going to go like this. Now what will happen, you know that you have written the on error resume next, so definitely the code will not stop, and you will have this code keeps on going, and finally the code ends. The point is you still have these values coming here, these folders, which is giving the wrong impression. So that is why, because on error resume next we write when we don't want to stop the code, even the error comes. So that means the code will run, but you will not have any changes in the previous folder. They should be actually deleted. So that is why we are first of all clearing it. So now what will happen, next time if I run this, let's say as a D drive, and I'm gonna run this, you see first the range will be cleared, and then we're gonna have this code running, and finally we will have all the values. Now from the D drive, if I again change this to F drive, you see first of all I will have all the range getting cleared, and if the range is going to be cleared, this will again be empty. Since I don't have any F drive, so obviously there will be no items which is going to be exported in the D drive. So I have my answer in this way, right? So this is first thing. Now this is done, guys. Now what we want to do is, based on this, again we're going to create one more thing. I'm going to teach you one more thing, that what are the files now we want to check under this subfolder. So further what you can do is you can create one more list box. So you just go to the view and the toolbox, and here you're going to again create a list box, one more list box I'm going to create. This is what exactly it is going to look like. So I'm going to create the list box like this. Okay, command button here. That is what I need. I want to run the macro. So I go to the view, toolbox, and here I choose this command button, and I just write here like this. Let me copy this and paste it here one more time. This is what we have. Okay, the two buttons. So I select this button, I go in the property button of this, the caption of this, I'm going to write here add. And I'm also going to change the name of this, because this is going to help me in the VBA code. The button CMD refers to this add button, right? And I click outside, and I should be able to see now here. Let me just increase the height of this, and similarly for this. So you will have to select this, and you will have to come here, and I'm going to change this name, which so that I can refer to this in the coding. I'm going to write here remove, and here in this caption simply write RMV. Okay, perfect. Now this is done. So when this ad is going to run, you click here and go to the view code. So when this button is going to click, what actually we want to do, guys? So we want to check that which item is selected by which the folder actually is selected by my user, right? So if he runs here, if he selects the D drive and he selects the folder 2 and he clicks on the ad, something should happen here, and that something is actually this folder 2 should go to this list box, which is this list box. Okay, and the name of this list box is, I think, list box 2. I haven't changed the name of it. Let me put the property windows of it, and that's a list box 2. So this is how, guys, we write. I'm gonna write the code in this way. This is a very important code for you. We're going to declare here a variable called dim I as, let's say, long, and you're going to write I equals to. Now I has to run how many times? I have to run from 0, because the first position of your combo box is always 0, the index of that. So you're gonna run it how many times? Well, I want to run it for the values you have here in this range, which is called the B1 to B5. So obviously we can do one thing. We can write here from the B1, so from the B100, capture the row number using XLR. This control up arrow, this takes you to the last row. Because we are starting from the 0, you have to subtract -1 from it, otherwise the loop will give you the error. I'll tell you why I'm saying that next. Here you're going to put the condition that which item actually is selected. I write here if me.listbox1 dot selected item, which is I, it is going to be 0 and the first time the loop runs. If it is going to be true, then what I want to do is, then this actually should be added. Where? So I'm going to add the item where? I'm going to add that item in my list box 2, which is list box 2. Okay, this is where we actually are going to add this. And so then you're going to write here in the list box, it has to be added like this. Okay, else nothing, and if. So now let us go ahead and see if we are good with this. So I'm going to run it. I select the D drive. I let's just select the folder 1. I add it here. You see that the first index is going to be checked, which is this 0 recycle bin, and then this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. So we have actually 0 1 2 3 4, 0 1 2 3 4, yeah, 4 indexes. So that is why, to balance it out, I have subtracted -1 from it, because range is going to give you 1 5 minus 1 will make it 4. So if you're going to run it from 0 to 4, that means 0 1 2 3 4, and it makes it 5. So all the items are going to be checked. We are going to check everything. So is this the selected one? You know it is not selected, that's why it shows as false. This recycle bin is not selected, it goes in the else, then next, again else, and then this time next is actually selected. So we will have a, now this time if I hover my mouse, you see it is selected because folder 1 is selected, and the index number of this is actually 2. Makes sense, because this is 0, this is 1, this is 2. Now if it is selected, it should add the value. This match. All right, so I got the problem here. I think the item is item has to be added. I think this is not required, because there is no list box 2 index. List box 2 is empty. We run this, permission denied. Okay, so it is the permission denied. I think I did a mistake. Yes, actually it is not list box 1, it is list box 2, because this is where we need to add it. That, and what you want to add it, you write in the next part, the parameters. So here I'm going to write here, this is actually the list box 1. What do you want to add? You want to add the the list box this selected item. So you're going to write here, this actually should be added, or I think you can use this box 1 dot list and index, and that is called the I. If I run this now, okay, again you have a type mismatch. right? So this, okay, this is type mismatch. So I believe you can use the list property, list method. If I just run it now, let me see. Just a second, guys. So we actually, there's a lot of properties, so it's sometimes it's a little confusing. So I just write list. Alright, there we go. It ran, right? Fumbled for a minute, for a second actually, for seconds, but that's fine. Now it is added, and let me see if it is added or not. Oh yes, it is added. Wow. Right, great. So list box 2, we added what? We added the, obviously the index of I is 2. Next, you don't have anything here. There's no other item I have selected, so it will go in the else. Next, finish, and the macro is finished. So in this way, you can select these items. Okay. Now, just in case, if let's say you select the 2 items, for example, you're gonna select this folder 1 and folder 2 as well. Now, you know that if I just select, if I check this, I can't select them in one go. To do that, what you need to actually do is you will have to come back to the user form, and here in your user form, select this user form, go to its property window, and just here, somewhere here, you will have to find the multi-select property and make it multi. You can use the extended as well. Extended means that you can use the shift key, but I'm just simply going to use the multi. What will happen the next time when you run the code, you see that if I select the D drive, if I select the folder, I again click on the folder 2, I can select the items. Perfect. How are you gonna add this? When you're gonna add this, now see that the first item obviously is not selected, so it goes in the else, again else, and this time it is going to add. The next time also it is going to add the another item, and then last one is the system, which will go in the else, and the macro finishes. Okay, if I show you how actually, the second, let me reset the code, and let me just increase the width of this as well. Oh, okay, so my mistake actually, I just closed the macro, so no problem. Let me reset the code, and let's click back here and drive, select folder 1, folder 2, I click on the add, let me run this. There you go. You see that, guys, all the items are added, right? Once these folders are added, you can further go ahead and run a macro which can take you to the workbooks, okay, which you can the files which are available in these folder 1 and folder 2. That's what you can actually do. Okay, for example, how you gonna do that? First of all, let me close this. So now what we will do is, I will just first of all resize this, because this is actually little, I can write, I can make it like this, and can this little up, add, and this to remove. Okay, so now again, this is another list box which you have created. So you have to create one more, let us say the list box. I'm going to create it here, and copy and paste it, and let's move it here. Okay, and you can just put it here as well, or maybe just in front of it also it will work. I will have to change the width of this, because file can be have a little long name. Now once you have selected this, again you can create one more add button. So what we can do is, I can actually create a button here. I go to this toolbox, and I can do one thing. I can further go ahead and add this. So I can add, or this time we can write here show. Okay, so once you have added it, you're gonna write here show, let us say, right? So I go to the property window of this, and I'm gonna make this as show files. Okay, and this command button, I'm going to name it as cmd show files. That's it. So you have here this box, and now we want to see the files. I click on this button, right? So what's going to happen is, we are going to come here. Before I go there, I want to select this, and I want to change the name of this list box. So this is going to be my list box Excel, or I'll simply write all files. Okay, and if I select this is a list box 2, so I'll name it as list box 2. Let's not touch that because we have already programmed. This is going to be your list all files. Okay, now what we want to do is you double click here, guys, and now you're on this show file. When this button gets clicked, what you want to do is you want to loop. First of all, you want to identify which one actually folder user has selected, because they can add anything. She can add anything, folder 1, folder 2, or they can be more. Okay? So the same loop which you actually have written here, let me delete this first of all. So we're gonna use the same loop. We're gonna first of all find it out which one is the selected one. So I'm going to copy this loop. Okay, I copied it, go back and I double click here. Okay, so this is my show file. I deleted it, my bad, my mistake, sorry. I pasted here, and now this is going to be dim I as long. So I will start from where? Now I will start actually from 0, and how many times it has to run. It has to run depends upon how many folders you have in your list box 2. So this is another good thing you're learning, list box 2 and list count. That tells you how many items you have there. So I want to actually, this time what I want to do, I want to create a variable. If that is selected, I want to capture it. So I will capture this in my variable called my value, which is equals to list box and then 1 and then dot selected item, whatever it is, and I'm going to put that value there. Okay, so your my val will hold actually a folder name. So we're going to capture that folder name and we're going to use it in the FSO class. So first of all, I want to show you what exactly I'm doing. I'll put the breakcode here. Now we're going to be very quick. Let me add the D drive. I've added the D drive. I select the folder 1, let's say folder 1, and I add them both. So I just click here F5. Click here F5. Let's just run this. There we go. You have the folder 1. Now let's say I selected the folder 1. Now here I'm not giving any option to the user to select the multiple ones. You can, but basically the purpose of uploading this video is, in this particular case, I'm not going to allow this multi-select property on. So I select the folder 1 and I'm going to click on the show files. Variable not defined. Alright, so I should actually have declared the my val, which is here, my val, and I'm going to declare it as a string. Okay, now we're going to run this. Guys, you see that how many times you're supposed to run this loop. First of all, that is an important thing. Now you are supposed to run this loop. Actually, how many times you got to run this loop? 2 times. So who's gonna tell you that it has to run 2 times? This property, this count. So you got to run this loop 2 times, but 0 to 2 means 0, 1, 2. It's gonna run 3 times. So I'm gonna subtract -1 from it, right? Because I'm going to start it from the 0. If you're starting it from the 0, that means this is the 0 position actually. So you don't have a choice. You have to start it from 0. So again, the loop is going to run now 2 times. So we will see that which list box actually is selected, and I will change this to list box 2. Yes, this is our list box 2, and the first one is selected. So alright, so my mistake, I think I just removed the dot. So now if I'm going to do this dot, and now if I just run this, what will happen? See that this is selected. It's true, it is showing true because folder 1 actually is selected. So my val is going to hold what? My val actually is going to hold, again, I will have to change this to. So I'm going to run this. You have a value in the my val which is okay, so you don't actually, it says true. I know it is true, so I used again the wrong, actually the property. So what you will do, you will use the list box 2 and the list, and then you're going to write the I. Okay, so if I just put it back and I run this, now let me see. Yeah, you got the folder 1. Perfect. And this folder 1, we're going to use it. Next. Well, the second is not selected. The index number 1, which is folder 2. So it will go in the else mode and next and finishes. Right. So guys, what we have done is we have captured the folder. It's my val. So again, now here we will write dim. Let me reset the code. Let's go back here. So here we will write FSO as, again, I'm declaring this FSO as scripting dot file system object. We are going to run the loop now in the files in the folders. That is the loop we are going to run. So I'm going to write here file system object, same lines, and then we're going to write dim let's say folder 1 as scripting dot folder and that has to be equals to folder 1 equals to what? So get the folder. Okay, get the folder means get the folder name. So where is your that folder name basically? So that folder has to come from where? Folder basically has to come from your myval. Okay, myval. The point is how you will come to know where this folder is actually laying. Yes, when you get the folder as folder 1 name, we will have to also prefix the drive, which is this drive, D drive. So in that case, you will have to use the D drive as well. So you know that your combo box, which is me.cmd combo box, let me just first of all remove this. I'm going to write here me dot combo box 1 dot value, because that actually is going to give you the D drive. It has to be concatenated with the folder, which is going to be myval, and then you get to have your complete folder. And then you declare here let's say my underscore file to run the loop scripting file. If we want to run the collection loop, so we will write here for each my underscore file in folder 1 dot files. Now this time remember, I'm not using the dot subfolders. If you remember previously what we ran here somewhere here, ran the subfolder, because that was a loop, guys. Go in the subfolders of a folder. This is a loop to go in the files of a folder. So that's how you write, right? Both the loops are different. So what you're going to do here is you're going to print out all those values. So I'm going to export those values here in Excel, which is in the column C. So I'm going to let me just increase the height of this code. So here I will write cells. This time I'll declare, let's say RR in the 1, not the 1, actually the column 3. I'll write value equals to my underscore file dot name. Okay, you will have the file name, and then you will have to increment row number every time it runs, because you don't know how many files you will have in that particular folder. We will have to define this RR as well. So I'm going to define it here, RR as long, and don't forget write that RR has to start with 1, otherwise it will be empty and it will give the error. And finally, when you're done, again you will have to use the same line, me dot list box, this is my list box 3, which I have named lst all file. So this is how you see the difference. List box 1, list box 2, you may forget what was it meant for. I should have given it a good name. I always say this, right? But because they were just only 2 list boxes, so I thought I will remember, because list box 1 is for what? If you remember, that was for to choose the folders, and the list box 2 actually is to choose the, I think, the subfolders, right? That was the so I'm again trying to recall. So that is what I'm saying. It is little difficult. If you give it a good name, you will always remember. For example, list box 1 actually populates the folders, and list box 2 populates the subfolders, right? So if you would have given it a name called lst folder or lst subfolder, like this, lst all files, it would be so easy for a programmer to write the codes. And that is why I always say, please give it a good naming convention. So now I will write row source, and it has to be equals to I will write my sheet name, which is sheet 1 sign of exclamation. I'm gonna write b1 colon to c1 actually, because in the C the data would come. You can define it, let's say c10. You can give the maximum range, and then you will have all the files coming here. Okay, so now we're gonna run this code. I have a break code already on here, so let us see if we can. And before I do that, I want to actually create some files here. So maybe I can pick up some desktop files. So let's say I have these the files over here, and let me copy that, and let's go to the folder, the 1, and I'm just going to paste it here, and come back, select the folder 2 as well. In the folder 2, let me add some Excel files. So I'm just going to copy this and this. I copied it and I'm going to paste it here. Perfect. Okay, so let's go ahead and run the code now. Let's have a look. We are through with this. So I hit here, get the D drive. Okay, you add the folder 1, if I just select this folder 1 and I'm going to hit on the show files, this macro is going to run, and let me show you how it is going to run. There we go, and I'm going to put it here. So let us run the code. We know this is going to give us 1. 1 minus 1 will make it 0. The loop is going to run first time. Obviously it will be selected, so we will have a folder called folder 1. Folder 1, where is it? What is the path of that? This is what this combo box is going to come. In the D drive, that folder will come. So D drive folder 1. So we have defined the folder. Now you know what is the folder. Your folder is actually D drive and the folder 1. This loop will run and it should now export all the values in the Excel. So let us go ahead and that out. So I'm going to run this. You have 1.txt, you have 11.txt, and all the files are, you can see here, all they are actually getting exported. So this is finally when we are through, and finally we would like to use this row source property, and we see that. All right guys, there we go, we have all the properties coming in here. This is really wonderful. Similarly, if you just go ahead and I just go ahead and remove the code from here, and now if I just run this, for example, now I want to actually remove it also. One thing we didn't actually do, if I click on the remove, this folder 1 should be removed from this, the list box. So how you can do that, right? So in order to do that, you will have to go to the remove button. So I just reset this, and I'm gonna click here, and I click on the view code. So when this button is going to hit, we want to remove the values. So now what happens, how you gonna remove that? So again, you will run the loop, which is for I equals to 0 to how many times you want to run. Well, how many times we have the value in the list box 2, right? We're gonna use this list box 2 list count. Okay, and of course we will have to subtract -1 from it. Next, so now whichever item is selected, so we will put the condition if this is going to be selected. Okay, if this is true, if the selected one is true, which is equals to true, so we're going to actually remove it. So I just write here how to remove it. So me dot list box 2, and guys, now you don't have to use the add, you have to use the remove item. Okay, so what you want to remove, obviously you want to remove the item which is which the user has selected, right? So you can write here list box 2 dot list, then you're going to write the I. Okay, now there's a problem in this code, I'll tell you. First of all, let us go ahead and run this. So I just put the break code here, and so let's say this is what we have done. I selected this D, I selected the folder 1, and I get it added. When I click here, and when I say that remove it, variable not defined, so let me declare I again. You can declare any other variable as well, because these are the local variables, so I'm keep on declaring the I in every subroutine. That's not gonna create a problem. Okay, so argument not optional. I think I forgot to put the index, which is I, which actually list box I'm talking about. So next without 4. Okay, so I forgot else endif. You have to write the endif as well. Okay, this is looking good. We're gonna have the loop running. Okay, there we go. This is selected. You know that this is going to remove it. Let me see if it is going to remove. It is going to remove this folder 1. Invalid argument. Okay, so here we have some problem, and I get to see the folder 1, which is correct. Maybe I think I can simply write here the remove item, and I can write if the I here. This is how it is. You see that in the background it actually is removed. Next, and the enter. Okay, if I add, let's say again I'm going to add folder. Let me just run this quickly. The folder is added. I add this one as well, which is this, and I check this. See, the folder 2 is added. Okay, and I'm going to add one more item, which is this one. This is also added. Now, if I select this folder 2 and I want to remove it, now I click on the remove, guys. You see that Okay, now loop is going to run. If you look at this, so first of all, the loop is going to run 3 times. 3 minus 1 means 2. 0 to 2 means 3, obviously. First one is not selected, I know that. So it is going to go in the else mode. The second is selected, so this should actually show as true. This is going to be removed. Once you are going to remove this, actually what will happen, the system volume, if you look at this, it is removed. Now next, if you run this now, what is the next item? Next item actually shows as false. So it goes in the else, next, and now enter. So basically, so now if I click on the remove, see what will happen. I'm going to click on the remove, and this is how it is going to run. First item is not selected, so it goes in the else. Second one is selected, so I have my getting removed here. I list box 2 dot remove item, and you got to write here I. Okay, is that index which you want to remove, which is 1. Folder 2 is on the index number 1. It is removed, and next and second last one is not selected, so obviously this is how code will look like. Again, if I press remove, I go ahead and this is going to be removed. See that this is removed. If I again press this is going to be removed. Simple as that. In this way, you can actually make this kind of a list box. That's it. In the module 1, we have this. So now if I just run this quickly, I have let's say D drive. I have all the values here. If I change this to F drive, I don't see anything. If I go ahead and put the desktop, see that I get the desktop, all the folders, perfect, right? I can show you on my desktop. You see these are all the folders. This is the one folder. This is the other folder, content, Excel patches, assignments. Everything is coming. This is pretty cool. If I select the Excel batches and I add it, example, you can increase the width of this. Show files. If I click on the show files, you would like to see what all files I have, and you can see that all the files are coming. If I go to the Excel batches, you get to see all the files here. Right? So in the Excel batches, if I just see this Excel batches, you see the I'm able to see here a couple of documents like file text data, to VBA intro, and so I guess there is something wrong here because there is no file here. So we can see that how it is function. I can go back to the form and I can put the code here, and let's go ahead and check that. So I just hit here, I select my let's say desktop in Excel batches. I'm just going to add it. I click on the show files. Let me see what is wrong with this. We're gonna run this. How many times it should run? 1 minus 1 0, which makes it 1. It is selected. Yes, it is selected. So finally I have the folder Excel patches. Perfect. And now in the combo box, what value I have, that's the value for each file in the folder dot files. So okay, I got the point. I think basically what happened, the files didn't get refreshed, because if I run this, there's no file, you see, and it went in the else mode, which makes sense. And that is why I was wondering, because this is actually from the previous list, same thing which we did for the drive and the folders. Got to do it here, so that's a nice check. So we will first of all come back here and right here C and C12, C10, we have to clear it. Okay, not clear, that's it. Okay, now I'm going to remove this. Let me see if we can run this now. So I go ahead and select the D drive or maybe desktop. Again the same, add. We're gonna run this, show file. See, there's no file in this. Perfect. Now I remove this Excel patches. I click on the project, and now I'm gonna click here, show files, and there we go. We got the perfect this basic the description. If I remove this as well, I'm going to, let's say, run on the content or maybe on the assignment and check everything. I click on the add, see that the add is there, and if I click here, show files, there's nothing there. Okay, that makes sense to me. If assignment actually doesn't hold anything, yeah, that's perfect. So if I just go ahead and create any, maybe text file, let's say this is the one. If I run the code again, it should give me that, right? So let's click here. Yes, that's it, guys. So I think this is really working. So this is really a long video, but we have done a lot of stuff here and try to make it, as real as I can, because I never wanted to actually record it before. I think the real learning comes when you do the things and when you get the errors. And if you have followed me without any break, you know that you have got the answer for every question, and you know that how actually we had overcome from these the problems which we kept on getting. Sometimes the folder was not getting captured, sometimes the ranges were not coming proper, they were not overwriting, but we did everything to sort out the issues. And we also use the correct loops finally, at the end of this, because initially I was writing some wrong actually the properties, but this is how it's all about. The errors and then you sort out the things. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you have any questions, and thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, and I will be back with some another exciting stuff very soon. Thank you so much for watching.